Good afternoon, everybody. How are we today? Uh, you look interesting there with your face mask. That's it. That's it. I hope everybody is having a lovely afternoon and welcome to another MOT session with your host, Anita Maka. So today we will be joined. This is breaking. Let me switch with my video. Hopefully it'll be better. Just let me know if it's better. Okay. All right. So welcome, guys. And yeah, so is it okay now? Hopefully it's better. Is it still breaking? Okay, just let me know. Still the same. Okay, I am not quite sure then what the issue is. It has been switched off though. Okay, is it still the same? Still the same? Is it still the same? Or is it still the same? So please just confirm if you guys can hear me. I'm still breaking. Still the same. I am still breaking. Okay. Right, so what to do? Let's just check something here. Yeah, I see. I get, yeah, let me just see if I can get the earphones. So just a moment. Okay. How is the sound now? Can you just confirm? I've plugged in my earphones. Checking. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just let me know. Can everybody hear me? It's still the same. Okay, I think it is cold in Cape Town. I think the Wi-Fi is, or rather the connection is moody, just as the weather. Right, so just in the meantime, if you can hear me, I'll just send the message. Okay, so I'll just move on to the slide quickly. Okay, I'll just move to this slide and send a message. Okay, it's so bad. Please choose your mood. Okay, so just let me know if it has improved. Okay, in the meantime, please tell me how you are feeling today. So just choose. If you could just choose your mood there. All right, so you can just type. Let me know how you're feeling today. Okay.
Andiswa, you are muted. I'm trying to unmute you.
Okay, and now you can hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, guys, so I see that they're B5s. I was asking, excuse me, what does B5 mean? Because I see a brain with water. Well, what is it exactly? Is it cold? I never understand all these emojis. So anyone, can someone just tell me what that means? Emoji generation. What does B5 mean? Or B or A4 for that matter, or B4? What is that? It looks like a brain filled with liquid or fluid. Also freezing, right? Like more like a brain freeze type of thing. Okay, great stuff. All right, so y'all are freezing. So yeah, so many parts of South Africa are quite cold. So B4 means shocked. B4, let's see. Ah, okay. Shocked and freezing or shocked and zombified? Okay, all right. Thank you very much for educating me. Okay, great stuff. So A4 is stressing. A4 stressing. Yeah, more like somebody before the exam. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for that. All right. So for today, we have our wonderful guest. Hopefully, he's managed to join. MJ Lee. He is one of our brand ambassadors, and excuse me. So he will be delivering the message of courage today. Okay, so thank you very much for letting me know how y'all are feeling today. So just before we hand over to our guests, so where is this? We're going to talk about robustness, okay? Being the feeling of being robust. Okay, so our mission as MOT South Africa is developing robust youth who includes all. Okay, so, okay, Shanice, you are E4, so you're stressing. Please calm down. Okay, hopefully this session will help you just calm down a bit. And please, if you can share, what are you stressing about? Maybe we can help you with that. Okay. Right. So as I've said, our mission is to create youth or robust youth who includes all. So I am going to focus for a few minutes on the word robust. What do you understand by the word robust? When I say robust or a person is robust, what do you think I mean by that? So you can just type on the side, or you can just raise your hand and then answer. So what do you think the word robust means? If we say she is a robust young lady, or he is a robust young man, what do you think we mean by that? So anyone would like to share? So what do you think we mean by the word robust? What comes to mind when we talk of the word? Tulani, I can't hear you, darling. You're not active. Not so. Bernady says strong. Ndando says not active. What do you guys think? Think mut. Mut means to show courage, right? And our mission is to develop robust youth. In fact, so robust actually does mean strong. Strong. And so if we say person, yes, Tulani, yes, exactly. So a person who is robust is a person who is strong and healthy. Okay. And if we talk of a system, for example, if we say the system is robust, it means that it is strong and unlikely to break or fail. So we would say, for example, about a person that they are robust, or they look robust and healthy enough. Okay. So as you would know now, I think more than ever. Okay, so thank you, Kizmi. All right, I'm going to come to that just now. So being robust, as I've said, is all about being healthy and strong, and that is what we want our youth to be. And looking at the climate and how things are, we are actually expected to be robust and be able to handle the challenges or the current challenges that are facing us. Okay. And there are different ways that we can do that. It's different strokes for different folks. But I want you to read these statements and pick just two statements that for you would make you feel robust. So just what do you do or what do you say to yourself in order to maintain that robustness? Because it sometimes we feel fragile, other times, we feel robust. But in order to be able to overcome circumstances, we are required to be strong, right? We are required to be able to withstand challenges. So just have a look and just choose only two for now. There's probably more that you can choose, but just choose two. So which statements make you or help you maintain that robustness, help you, remain strong, remain healthy when it comes, mentally, okay, and physically, in fact. I will choose mine. I would say my first would be enough sleep, getting enough sleep. That is my first. Because if I don't sleep well, I get sick and then I get stressed and then I get headaches and whatnot, and everything just gets thrown off. So for me, the first would be sleep. Okay. All right. I see. Okay. So we'll start with Kizmi. Kizmi says focusing on learning and development rather than being clever and perfect. That's great. Telling yourself that if I fail this time, for example, I'm going to learn rather than beat myself up and tell myself that I'm dumb, which is not the case. Okay, so Ndando says it's okay to not always be okay. Exactly. So that is what makes you maintain that feeling of robustness. Okay, Shonice, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Shonice says she must believe in herself more. Yeah, very important. Very, very important. If we want to focus on solutions, if we want to see the best in ourselves and see the best in others, it's important that we do the work within ourselves first. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it is our responsibility. So you have to do this, so you need to come up with ways that will make you believe in yourself more, you know. Okay, so Bernie, being sincere, honest, and true. And okay, and believing in herself. Okay. Remember the first session, looking, looking at yourself in the mirror, saying, I am, I am it, I am the girl. So it's important to believe in yourself. All right. What is my other statement here? I would say, because I am a rather emotional person, say to myself, just stay away from negative comments because I react. And it's something that I'm working on, but I've learned that it's best to stay away and not entertain negativity. because it'll break you. So rather physically remove yourself from negative comments. Okay, okay, so we see Tulani focusing on learning and development, okay, rather than being clever and perfect, okay. So same as Kizmi, and it's okay to not always be okay, indeed. Yes, Shoni's girl, I am the diva, but very emotional. I feel you. I feel you. But I do feel that in the spirit of seeing the positive in yourself, that being an emotional person doesn't necessarily mean that, or it's. I don't think it must be viewed in a negative light. But I believe that obviously, if you're able to manage your emotions, uh, then it is a good quality. I think it is a good quality because it means that you're a sensitive person, and I think you respond to people in an emotional way as well. So emotions aren't necessarily a negative thing, I believe. Yeah, but obviously the important thing is to actually manage those emotions. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for that. So let's just see if MJ Lee is here. Okay, let's just see. I'm not sure. I don't see him here. So let me just check. In the meantime, you can keep looking at the statements and maybe just see if you can find something that you need to develop, something that you need that would help you maintain, your robustness as a person. Okay. Hi, Julia. I see Julia. You're here. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. What is my other one there that I can? And saying to myself, I'm good enough, So who amongst you guys, have felt at some point that maybe I'm not as good enough as I think? Or maybe you were told that you weren't good enough. So how many of us have had that feeling of, kind of feeling that you're not good enough? You grow blind, at the accomplishments that at things that you've accomplished, and you still feel that you're not good enough. There are certain moments where one does feel that, and then you get to be reminded by people that, listen, I mean, if you look back, can you see, uh, the many things that you have accomplished as a person? How dare you say you're not good enough? But I think part of also developing that robustness is forcing yourself to remember, what makes you the person that you are and what makes you the strong person that you are as well. Uh, so you need to do the work, I would say. You also need to do the work. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, so even though I feel I may not be as, if I feel I'm not good enough, I need to think of things that I've accomplished in the past, so how far, so how far have I, how far I have come. All right. Sondando says, yeah, he sometimes feels like he's not good enough. Julia as well. It's a very strange human thing, this, isn't it? Really, it's. I don't know whether maybe it's like it's that feeling that is meant for you to just check yourself so that you don't become too proud. I don't know, but even the best of the best at some point do feel like this. It's a very strange thing, this. And Shanice says, honestly speaking, I tend to feel that I have not been good enough for my children, yet I raised them alone. Exactly, that's what I'm saying, which makes one feel lost. That's exactly what I'm talking about, that we we actually go blind and we forget about the accomplishments. I mean, I take it you're a single mom and you've raised your kids, and I can imagine, the good kids that they are, and still you have that feeling that maybe I'm not as good enough. So it's really important for us to develop that robustness. And at times, we don't have people to tell us that, hey, snap out of it. Look what you've accomplished. So you need to tell yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and, remind yourself, how far you've come. So I think it's really, really important. So let's, just see if we can choose some more there. So you can just choose some more there while we wait for MJ. So anything else there? I think laughing, for me, that's another thing, laughing. Laughing, they say that it really helps the body heal, in fact. It releases those happy hormones. There's even laughing therapy. So clearly, that is how powerful laughing is. So just also surrounding yourself with laughter. So that's all about being with the people that you love and people who love you, people who appreciate you, and people who, can be clowns, and, people that you can be a clown when you are around, you know. So laughing for me has been, that's also another thing that actually develops or maintains my robustness. Okay, so any other, so let's just choose the statements there, keep them coming. So what would you there, so which statement do you think you need to, or what do you feel you need to do more in order to maintain your robustness now? What do you feel you need to do more that you're not doing enough now? Yeah, so Shanice says she noticed she tends to make silly, clownish statements and be extra dramatic, but yet people laugh. Exactly, making people laugh. So maybe you're a funny person and you don't even know it. So it's important to find those things, and they might not be big things. As I've said, laughing, you probably think, but laughing, how does that help my situation? But it is those seemingly insignificant situations or things that make us robust, that make us feel good about ourselves, that make us see the best in ourselves, see the best in situations, and see the best in others as well. Okay. Julia says, focus on learning rather than trying to be perfect. Yeah. Yeah, so anyone who says amen to that? So focusing on learning rather than trying to be perfect. Yeah. Patricia agrees, Julia. And Shanice seconds that. What drives us, guys? That's a question. That's another question that maybe we need to think about. What drives us to want to be perfect? Where did we learn that? So where do we get this influence that we need to be perfect? We need to strive for perfection. I suppose it might be it might be different, for everybody. So it could be experiences or what. But what is it that makes us strive for this perfection? This false illusion, because it is false illusion. Who is perfect? What is perfection? So Shanice, society. Definitely. Society, media, those filters. Yeah. Patricia says, well, you don't have to strive to be perfect. You just need to focus on yourself. Definitely. Definitely. you know, and understanding that you will not be perfect. You can never be perfect, you know, but do the best that you can in order to be the best version of yourself, you know. So yeah, filters. So we strive for something that isn't even there. You know, you want to lose weight and be as thin as a stick without even considering your BMI. You realize that you're actually underweight, you know, after a few months of training. Rather than really looking, you know, looking at yourself in the mirror and liking what you see. You know, I'm reminded of, I was just thinking about this the other day, that, you know, back in the day, you know, big lips were a no-no. You know, if you had big lips, it was just, you were not pretty. You know, you were not good looking. If you had, you know, um, a big rare, I will put it like that, it was considered, think about Sarah Bartman. You know, it was ridiculed back in the day. But now the strange thing is people pay to get their lips, you know, buffed up and nice and big. And you're thinking, but I mean, what is that about? You know? And now people will, you know, they pay a lot of money to, you know, to have maybe rounder thighs, bigger breasts, and all that. So, I mean, at one point, at what point then do you just um, decide, you know what, this is me? So society is yeah, it can be very confusing if you do not have that that campus that tells you that this is who you are. You know, you need to be confident and be happy with what you see, with you know, with what you have. So yeah, Kismi says their society determines what we should look like. Exactly. Sometimes what you see in the mirror does not reflect what your mind tells you. Exactly. And it comes down to influence, Kismi. I see you guys agree. It comes down to influence, you know. So do you choose, you know, to, because there are a lot of influences around us. And this is one thing that we encourage the youth to really start thinking about your influences, because as human beings we get influenced, okay, whether we choose to or not. But the power is in choosing who, you know, so who that influence is. And also, you know, having a healthy mind to choose influences that, you know, build you as a person, you know, influences that will help you achieve your goals, you know, rather than looking at a person and feeling. If you look at a person, if you look at a role model or a person you consider as a role model, if you look at them and then you start feeling that you're not good enough, then that is a red flag right there, you know. So it's important for us to take that back, the power, and choose who our influences are, you know, and also vet, if I might put it that way, vet our influencers, you know. So is this person that I'm allowing to influence me, you know, building me as a person? Are they building my robustness? Are they building my confidence as a person? Are they helping me reach my goals, whatever those may be? So Dando, so you say, maybe when I was a little girl, I was never made to feel like I'm good enough. I was born chubby, but the society made me feel like it's the ugliest body I had. Exactly, exactly. And how many um, young girls or even boys feel that way? You know, I remember I have two, I had two cousins, and so one was born 93 and the other 95. So so the first one, so they are sisters. So the first one, you know, everybody went, you know, gaga about her. They absolutely loved her. She was this pretty little thing. And as a result, that was the narrative, as she grew up. Everybody just marveled at how pretty she was. And that's all she heard. You're beautiful, you're smart, and, all these positive words. And so my other cousin came 2 years after. And although it was said in a cute way, I will put it like that, or maybe it was said in a way, maybe people were not aware, but she was compared to her older sister. I remember my aunt would always say to her, so, but if I translate it in English, it will sound bad. But in isiXhosa, it wasn't so bad. Okay. So she would say, umbi no bambi, but in a cute little voice thing, meaning that you are, basically just to tone it down, you're not very pretty. You're not as pretty type of thing. But it would be said in a joking, in a joking manner. But I remember having a conversation with my cousin. Now she's 25, 93, somewhere there, 95. So she's 25 this year. She broke down when she told me that, when she felt when she was younger, that, everybody compared her to her sister, and that she was basically the ugly duckling, when it came to grades, when it came to beauty and everything. And as a result, the younger sister was a black sheep, I tell you. She did all the things that a parent wouldn't want a child to do. And you can't really blame her, because how we feel reflects in our actions as well. So when I look back now, I'm thinking, she felt, what, I don't have a place in the table of the pretty. I don't have a place in the table of the smart. So let me just go and find another table, where maybe people will view me as smart or will view me as this cool person. And she did that, but obviously it was not in the right way. In MOT, we talk of a satellite orbit. We will talk about that in the coming sessions, but it's all about belonging. That we want to be part of. We want to be part of a group. And you will gravitate towards a group who makes you feel good about yourself, whether they're deceiving you or not. But if when you are with that group, you feel strong, you feel robust, you feel appreciated, guess what's going to happen? You're going to stay in that group, And that's exactly what she did. But she ended up looking for, she ended up being part of groups who were not really good for her, who were not advancing her in the direction that she was meant to go. So it's I think it's important for us to take back that power of choosing who our influences are, and also vetting the words that come into, that we hear. So hence I said, for me, that statement that says that I stay away from negative comments, you literally have to remove yourself, because if you stay there long enough, then you will find yourself becoming exactly that, I know there's this lady that I follow on Instagram. I forgot now who she is, but what drew me to her, Shanice, was, in fact, so this is Nando was talking about being chubby. I don't know whether you know her. I forgot her name now, but she is a Calvin Klein model, né? Mind you, and she has her own line. And this lady is, she is curvy. I will use that word. She is curvy. And I just love the way she embraces her curves, and she is not scared to put on a bikini and just show her curves, So that is really all about that robustness that we're talking about. If you have accepted how you look, and you will finally get to a point where you actually like how you look, and that is all about silencing those voices, coming from the society, I would say. Just telling yourself that this is who I am, this is how I was created. Okay, so I either, sink or swim. In this case, I would choose swim. And swimming would mean you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, girl, you are it. Or guy, you are it. Curves and all. But not just the way that we look. There's certain things that we feel, certain feelings that we have, about ourselves, or certain perceptions that we have about ourselves. And we think that it is our voice, that we hear in our head. But if you really, really think deep, then you realize that it is what you hear, it is what you see, it is what you get told, it is what you allow, to believe that people are telling you. So it's really, really important. You've got to train your mind. You've got to train your mind. So Shanice says, yes, mentally and psychologically. Yes, it is mentally and psychologically a mess with, let me just read this properly. Yeah. So just seeking approval from others. So we allow them, right? So we allow them to decide, you know. You did type too fast, Shanice, but I get your point. So just allowing those voices, it messes us up mentally. It messes us up psychologically. But what I can tell you is that it is up to you. You have to decide what influences you. So you have got to take back that power. Okay. MJ Lee is struggling connecting. Okay. So it looks as though I'm going to have to run this baby. All right. So Tulani says he remembers when he was in primary, he used to play with girls and he was classified as gay. And then for him, it felt like a wrong thing to be gay. And his older brother would always laugh at him and talk about how bad it is to be gay. At church, when they pray, they would pray that there must be no gays in the world, of which it made him feel attacked. And, from that year, he had to change. So from high school, he was never himself till this day. Thank you so much, Shulani, for sharing that. Thank you so much. There is nothing worse, being jailed, I would say, and not being able to live your true self. There is just nothing worse than that. And you know what? I woke up with something in my mind that, the one gift that we have as we mature is choice. Okay? People will label you, people will disapprove of who you are. You didn't choose to be gay, obviously. Um, People will say things, society will say things. That was very brave, yeah. People will say things, people will basically label you. But as I've said in the beginning, that internal campus, what is it that you feel that makes you, be that best version of yourself? That it must be your only campus. Because if you are going to allow society to dictate how you feel or how you must be, then you've already lost yourself. You've already lost yourself. So my message or my advice to you, because I think you are still dealing with this, you're still dealing with that. I want you to use that enthusiasm, that you showed on our first session. You know, you like just came out and you were like, I am going to sing. I don't care. Use that. You know, that is courage to live, right there, Tulani. So you're going to say, I don't care whether I sound like, I don't know, my tones are just offside. I don't care. If I want to sing, I am going to sing. If you choose to not if you choose that you don't want to listen to me sing, then step out of my space. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for us to really live our best version of ourselves. But if we are going to live outside of ourselves, then we have already lost that battle, you know? So the topic for today, in fact, was seeing the best in yourself, you know, and, seeing the best in, situations, and seeing the best in others as well. But I really think that the first thing is to see the best in yourself, okay? And use your voice as your, as the dominant voice. There will always be voices in your head. We all have voices in our head, you know. Before an exam, you think you're going to fail, you know. Before you walk into your room, you think people are going to look at you and say you're ugly, or you're not walking properly. We always have these negative things, these negative narratives, that exist in our heads, but we cannot allow them to rule, basically. So you have the last word. So really, thank you so much. This was really brave of you. And yeah, so, and you guys, if you have just something to share, yeah, so if you have something just to share or to encourage Tulani, please do as well. But yeah, but, just live your best life, hun. And only you know how or what that looks like, and that is really courage to live. That is courage to live. So yeah, my pleasure, Shanice. Okay, so we're just gonna move to, we have 11 minutes, but looking at what is happening, these days, okay, there's lockdown and everything. There's a lot of challenges that we're facing, family, internal challenging, it's still just a whole lot of things. What can one do to see the best in a situation, for example? What can you do to see the best in a situation? Can you see the best in all situations? Or do we look at a winter day, for example, and say, this day I'm just going to delete, I'm going to cancel. It is not the 27th of May anymore because it is cold. So how do you see it? Can you see the best in all situations? If you can, how do you go about that? So maybe one can come up with an example, for example. So how does one see the best in a situation? How do you get to that point where you're like, okay, it is what it is, but this is what I'm taking from this situation. So how does one get to that point where you get to see the best in a situation? So please do share. Do share. So how do you see the best in a situation? So maybe you can just share, a situation. I can maybe in the meantime just share mine. I have a 13-year-old son and an 8-year-old. And so my 13-year-old, at least he gets, he gets online classes every day. And then I've got this 8-year-old child of mine who is, guys, I don't know. If we could trade children right now, I probably think I might maybe just for a week or something so I can breathe. So I've been really forced to see the best in the situation that I'm actually, so I have kids, at this child that I have to teach in the morning, you know, and we have to make it work. We have to get the work done, you know, and then he kicks and screams in the, you know, I would think 3 days and 5 days, but we still need to get the work done, you know, and so I've shared with my colleagues just how frustrated it can get. And so this morning, for example, so I decided he must just go back to bed. So we started with the maths, and then he started with his moods, and then we just decided, you know what, let's just quit, go back to bed and sleep, and then wake up when your mood is better. So at this point in time, when I look at him, I say, little monster, not that child I gave birth to, you know. But I really had to get myself to get to a place where you're like, no, you know, this is still your child, you know. I had to find that positive thing in him. And he has these beautiful big eyes. I swear, whether he's done something wrong or, you know, when I look at those eyes, no matter how angry I get, you know, I get to calm down a bit. So that's what I've decided to do. So if I feel very frustrated with him, you know, whenever I see his face, I just see the devil with a red face. I try the best that I can to look at his eyes, those beautiful eyes. And that helps, okay, for a little while. It does help. So basically, it's really about just finding that one thing that kind of makes things a little better, you know. So thank you, Marlon. So Marlon says, accept that you cannot change the situation. Number one, definitely, until you understand it. When only you will learn. Oh, until you understand it, then only you will learn from it. Thank you very much, Marlon. That's very wise. Yeah. So first thing, yeah, accept that you cannot change a situation, especially if you cannot. It's pointless to keep kicking a wall knowing you can't, you know, it won't fall. So just accepting that you can't change a situation. So that would be one. And from there, then you will find the creativity. I'm reading this book. Yeah, and it actually says that if you de-stress yourself, you don't allow stress to overcome you, to overpower you, then you allow for your brain to find creative ways to get out of that situation. Okay. Shanice, so I have a 21-year-old addict, and yeah, so it's hard to deal with him, but it's the most disappointing feeling to make me feel as a failure of being his mom. My 18-year-old son is so, oh, uh, so between trying to find his feet, okay, I find my joy to focus on the bubbly personalities, yes, of my 15-year-old son, 13 and 11-year-old daughter. And I'm learning that I can't control, let's see, I can control everything. You can't control everything. I think that's what you were trying to say then. Definitely. So I think the minute you understand that you can't control everything, then I think that's where we get the peace, right? So one of our ambassadors actually also said that, Sashali. He said that you can't control how people treat you, number one. You can't control, you know, what people think of you, number two. So what are you going to do? So are you going to now delve and just, you know, focus on how people are treating you? Or are you just going to tell yourself, you know what, if you don't like me, if you choose to view me in this light, then that is, I respect that. That is your view, but it doesn't define who I am, you know? So exactly. So it's really just about just focusing on those positive things and just deciding on eliminating these things that you feel are basically just crowding your space. So yeah, this was quite an interesting one. it took another turn, but I really, really thank you for sharing your vulnerability, with us. Really appreciate that. So Ndando says, I have also been getting frustrated with my child lately. Yeah, join the club, ne? And I don't know how to handle that, but I'm going to find that thing, yes, that will calm me down whenever he turns into, yes, yes, my dear. No, they will turn into those little devils. They will. But it's hard. It takes courage, Ndando. It really takes courage to just to take some time and try to find that one positive thing. And it's you will realize it's not just that one positive thing. There's a lot, but you choose your focus. You choose your focus, and you choose. Okay, I will repeat that. You choose to focus on the positive in a situation that is 99.9% negative. You choose, you decide whether you're going to see the best in that situation or whether you're going to dwell in the negativity of that situation. It is up to us, seriously. I shared last week that, I had something negative, just a very negative thing that just pulled me down for a period of what? So this is since 2010. And I am starting to let go. And that was from the response that I was given that you chose to be in that situation. Okay. And you chose to respond, in the way that you responded in that situation. You need to think now, why did I, respond a certain way in that particular situation? Why did I allow for that person to act the way that I did in that situation? So for me, it was about keeping the peace. Okay. For me, it was about keeping stability, and when I think about it, I know I would do the very same thing again. I would make the same choice again. And that actually got me to let go, because I chose to stay. I chose to take whatever treatment that I got from this person for a very long time. And I chose, so we really have to get to that point where we say, you choose. So if you have chosen, or if you find yourself in that particular position where you choose, then you are in a position of power. Okay. So goodness gracious, and how time flies. How time flies. But thank you so much, guys, for sharing. So this was this was heartfelt, and just really a message that I will just leave with you is situations will never be perfect. They're never perfect conditions. We can never be perfect, but it's important for us to see the best in ourselves, to see the best in others, and also see the best in situations so that we can move forward and always remain in that empowered and robust thinking or situation. So thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you guys again, same time, same place. So that is next week, Wednesday. So thank you so much, and hopefully MJ will join us next week. Because technology, technology. But we have to see the best in situations. Okay, but this was really good, and I really appreciate everybody's input. So guys, please stay positive, stay robust, find these different ways that will maintain that robustness. Okay, and much love to you all, and until next time. So goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.